So the senator said to let us in, the senator. And they saying no to the senator because they don't want us to see what's going on now. It's like a criminal saying, I know I'm going to get arrested if you come up here, but that's not what we on. We just want things to change. Chicago. Illinois U, Center, Chicago. Situation where they're torturing our kids. Modern day, medieval torture. Got these kids taking showers and drinking out of mop buckets next to molded water with mice running around.
Yeah.
And if they say something, they got the nerve to put a kid in the room and pull his dreads out with their hair, with their hands, and then they not educating, they drugging them up, and they expect them not to come back? No, they want them to come back, but they shouldn't get tortured.
Yeah.
Some of these kids ain't seen the light of day, they ain't been outside in over a year. This is a warehouse, look at this shit. It ain't no windows. It ain't no windows. And we tried, like literally the senator told them to let us in. A representative of the senator is here, like, yo, the senator said, let me in. Let us in, we arranged it. All they did was call the police on us. We got doctors out here, principals out here. Yes. While we talking about other people's problems and bullshit, we have real situations where our children are being tortured and trained to come back. Again, and I wasn't trying to call out no names. What was homie's name that wouldn't let us in? Assistant Superintendent Hurley.
He's responsible.
Will not
for
let us in.
Building being in a condition
he might be the one. So me, I know where I'm from. It just sounds like somebody cooking the books, and I'm gonna say allegedly, so I don't get a lawsuit. But that's just what it looks like. So if every kid's supposed to get 1.2 or over that a year per bed, why they gotta pay for their own toilet paper? I don't get that.
$12 million. $12 million. I'm a principal. $12 million is going towards the medication of one psychiatrist and all white female therapists. Nothing against that, but we need to have a black perspective. In addition to that, for this hellhole, it's $1 million a year, over $100,000 a month
per child.
To lease this facility. It's $1 million.
$88,000 a month.
Yeah,
that's what that is. $88,000. Trust me. It's dangerous for the adults and the kids to be in there because it's mold. So we all know what mold does. So they got to shut that, at least check that school.
They had me investigated. They had me investigated as a principal because of the exposure to the biological warfare on our youth. And the fact that they give it melatonin and clonidine, which clonidine affects your central nervous system, and it also affects the young person's ability to procreate. Now, if you couple that with psychotropic medication, how does that have long-term implications on our youth's ability to be able to live a productive life? 5 years, I've lost over 18 students in a span of 5 years. 80% of the students return within 2 to 3 months. And so there's a biological warfare. Yes. There's a fail-proof 3 strikes and you're in. As a matter of fact, the governor's is willing to sit down with us and have a conversation. And all we want is to have a conversation. We want to have oversight from now on that this will never happen again. It's a youth that transferred from IYC Harrisburg. He came here and they pulled his braids out his head. I thought he had wingworm, but they pulled his braids out his head. Another youth from IYC Harrisburg, which I'm asking the governor to launch an investigation because a youth that transferred to our facility was beat with handcuffs, uses brass knuckles.
As a human being, you can't look the other way for a check. If you're a human being and you see children getting beaten, mistreated, and you look the other way, what kind of person are you? So this is just him being human. You know what I mean?
So kudos to Dame Dash, because Dame Dash and I met at off school grounds, and I want to give a shout out to the president who came from New York in a day.
So we're bringing the president of the OSG and to come and just tell us what you could do to make this better, but you won't even let us in the door. But somebody tell somebody, man, like y'all making it hot for yourself. I wasn't saying no name. Right. I just wanted to get fixed. Right. But I'm not gonna sit there and let you do that to our kids. I got kids. Right. And those kids, the way they traumatize, it makes a kid that's not traumatized, when they around them, they gonna be traumatized. So if your kid ain't going through nothing, you don't want him to go through something by some kid that is going through something. So keep yourself safe. You can't ignore this until you don't ignore this till this is your child. We wonder why there's a cycle that keeps going on and on and on. It's intentional. Anything, it's doctors, there's politicians, they're not dumb. Any cycle that happens over and over again is done on purpose. So we coming in with a solution and they're not letting us in, it just makes things suspicious. And we gotta call your name and we just wanna know why.
That's true.
You know, ain't nobody beefing. We ain't gotta beef. There ain't those times. You know what I mean? It's just making and bringing awareness. I want your kids to ask you how you keep that job. Why you didn't? If you got a child, why you didn't let them in? Your kid should ask you that. But if we could bring the awareness here, hopefully we make it hot for everybody. But y'all can't keep torturing our kids just so that you could keep those beds filled. You know, a hotel, people want return customers. This is independent sector. This ain't nothing but a hotel without windows. They want return customers. And it's not safe to walk in there because of the mold. So y'all know what black mold does. You know, because what'll happen is you get pregnant and your kid will have it, and the kid will have mold in the system. I've seen it happen. You know, people die from that. But having to drink water out of a moldy mop bucket is demeaning. A kid should never have to think that it's all right to use. It's not. You don't even make a dog drink out of a dirty mop bucket. Period. So we bringing awareness. Tell everybody that these jails, in this particular one, we down here trying to help. The senator told him to let us in, and he won't even listen to the senator. So now we got to call the governor, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, right here in this concentration camp, I can't use the states too how to use some euphemisms. You dig? You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of times people hear about the crime going on with it has become infamously known as Chirac. The machine manufactured Chirac. Similar to the way that the British tried to force China to become a nation of junkies, they forced medicating these youngsters up in here. You know what I'm saying? You go back and check a lot of these cases, as opposed to having a reactionary response. A lot of these children out here, people just think they just send these bad, so on and so forth. Go check the resume. They forcibly medicated them up in here, put them back on the streets. Then they had to suffice with some sort of street medication. You know what I'm saying? They trying to produce a nation of junkies. You know what I'm saying? You hear the horror stories about Harrisburg and other places. A lot of these youngsters, they come out, they don't talk about it. Similar to like in Abu Ghraib, Baghdad, they asked the prisoners why did they talk about it. They say someone was so embarrassed. You know what I'm saying? What happened to them in there? You heard the brother Mike McGrone just said they shoot them on medication. They can't even procreate. They can't reproduce.
Along with giving clonidine and melatonin, along with other psychotropic medication, we're releasing kids to be a threat not only to themselves but to each other.
They're training them to do work. We're not talking about the questions. We all know. We're bringing the answer.